But yes, it is. If you do it in AWS, for example, let me bring up so I'll drop this in the chat in case people need the link. If you do it with AWS, then the price is going to be about twice as much as DigitalOcean. So I have guides for both DigitalOcean and AWS right here. So AWS, I did it for around 2 months or so. And yeah, it was around $600 and some dollars, I would say $600 to $700 per month. And again, with Pulse price the way it is, yeah, the ROI just doesn't make any sense. But I don't look at it that way. I don't take the short-term view. I don't take the I need to make money now type of thing. I'm okay, waiting. Okay, paying that. Some people can't. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it. That's a different story. But yeah, I don't care what the price is today. I believe in the future myself, it will go up and it will more than take care of the hosting costs and otherwise. So with AWS, the estimate's around $600 to $700, depending on your specs. I actually, what I got to experiment with too, when I did DigitalOcean, which is about half the price. So far, it's been around between $300 and $400 per month. And I highlighted here, this is a consensus of setting it up 32 gigs of RAM. And this kind of specs is like the safe option. But I did actually have, validators. One of them running now are running 16 gigabytes, and which is a cheaper type of server that you can spin up in the cloud. And yeah, it's been running great. The only problem I had that I think I had was it took longer to sync. And I think I had to restart a couple of times because it was getting stuck on the initial sync process. But that's a client issue. That's a client low resource bug type of thing. May not necessarily a bug, just low resource risk of doing business in that way. So if you can find a cheaper server in the cloud for 16 gigabytes of memory, I've tested it. I don't think I recommend it for beginners, but advanced users who can figure out like how to get past the sync process to make sure, hey, it's not working, don't panic, all that stuff. I have tested it. I still recommend people use 32 gigs just to be safe, especially during the sync process. But once you get past that, I've had no problem smooth sailing over there too. $600 a month for AWS, which instance server you're launching? No, it's definitely not T2 Micro. T2 Micro is a free tier one, I believe, or a very, very small one. This was I forget off the top of my head because it's been a while. Yeah, M5 2X large. So you can try the M5 X large. That's a 16 gig of RAM. You could try it. However, again, I don't recommend it for generally because I'm using it. But again, I had the sync issues. I'm blaming the memory for it. I'm not 100% certain, but I think it was I was running out of memory during the sync process at certain points. So I had to restart the clients, and it took me a little additional time to get back online validating, especially when I was migrating from one server to another. I'm actually losing PLS, which whatever. That's just, it costs to do a business. Sometimes you gotta be offline when you're migrating or run into issues or otherwise. But the 2X large is the one that was cost estimated around $600 to $700, somewhere through there, which is through 2 gigs RAM, 8 virtual CPUs. However, again, I've tested with DigitalOcean, half the price with the 16 gig. I think 32 gig would, I don't know. I think it was like maybe, let's say 400 to 500, but 32 gig was 300 to 400, somewhere through there. And with with AWS, the 2X M5 2X large would be, yeah, 600 to 700. The X large, I really don't know. I don't think I've tried it for any significant period of time, but I'm going to guess, yeah, maybe $100 cheaper or something. So that's, there's some cost estimates for you.